Here he is, finally. The greatest midfielder of his generation.
Thank you. Let's move on.
Who needs Paul Scholes? What did you make of the game?
I thought United were very good going forward at times. I listened to the guys at half-time. I thought Newcastle were disciplined but expansive at times. But I just thought the front three, I live in the Manchester area and everybody's been United fans crying out for Martial, Rashford, Lukaku to start. And they did. And, Pogba coming back, Ibrahimovic, They've got an aura about them, those type of players. They're Manchester United players. When I played against United and Jermaine, when you stand in that tunnel before the game, you're seeing those type of players. That's what Manchester United is all about. OK, United fan, Newcastle fan, football fan, whatever, get in touch with the show. We're here for the next 45 minutes. Use the hashtag PL Tonight to get involved. We spoke beforehand when we were pitch side and you said, look, tonight is all about the performance for Newcastle. And immediately I was like, what, isn't it always about the result? Do you still look at that and think, actually, there were reasons to take positive thoughts away from this game, despite getting beaten by 4-1? No, I do, Look, it was always going to be a difficult place for Newcastle to come and get a result. I think the previous kind of 6 performances that Newcastle had put in, the ones that stand out, Burnley away, Bournemouth at home, little bit lacklustre, didn't seem like scoring. It felt like to me that they'd kind of gone away and worked on, rather than being organised, which Rafa is very good at, it felt like he was trying to find better ways to score goals. They committed more bodies forward today. In the first half, that's as good a 45-minute display I think Newcastle have put in this season. The goals, if he dissects the goals, he'll be disappointed. That's what Rafa Benitez will do. But once you go 2-1 down, you start chasing it. You're trying to get back into the game, and you are going to get opened up. There's genuine, world-class quality out there, and it showed in the end. OK, well, we can actually hear from Rafa Benitez. I've just been told he's in the tunnel and he's with Des, so let's hear from the Newcastle boss now.
Did you need to hang on to that lead psychologically, not just for your team, but also with the crowd here getting nervous? Need to hang on to that lead at half-time?
Yeah, we knew that it was important to go half-time maybe with a draw, not at this time, because we were doing really well. But it was obvious that the second goal gave them a lift, and then it was more difficult for us in the second half.
Is it because you said it's about the class of the United players? That's the difference in the key moments?
Yeah, obviously. That is very simple and very clear. When you spend so much money in players with this quality, they are here for that, for making the difference in some games.
So you're in a different race, you believe in. Are you punching above your weight in terms of what Newcastle are doing this season?
No, I think that we know our strengths and our weaknesses, and then today was a game that we were doing really well for 30 minutes. As soon as they scored the second goal, it was more difficult, and that's it. So it's a massive difference in terms of money spent in the last years, and so you can see that in every situation when you have 1v1 situations or when you have to challenge, and they have the big players with quality, with pace. And then that is the point that I was really pleased and really proud of my players in the first half, but we couldn't manage in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
I suppose it's understandable, but it's a shame he just points towards the money thing. I mean, that applies to 3/4 of the teams in the Premier League haven't spent as much as Man United, have they?
Yeah, he's right in some ways, but I think immediately after the game, this excuse is a little bit. But yeah, he can take positives, like JJ was saying before, for the first half, the way they played. And I think this is a bit of a gimme, this game here at Old Trafford. You can afford to experiment a little bit. He's not given any chance of winning with this Newcastle team here, so he could maybe play with being a little bit more expansive. I think Rafa's natural way is to defend first and be in a real tight shape, 2 solid blocks, hard to break down. And this was a little bit different to what you normally see from a Rafa team. And as I said, I think here he could experiment, and he probably will go back a little bit to basics against other teams. And I keep on waiting for like a big win for a big team to say, great, the title race is on. But City just keep on winning. They're just not showing any signs of slowing down, are they? 8 points still between United and City. It's 10 consecutive wins on the bounce. They are a machine at the moment, and they're doing it in unbelievable style. They're doing it where you're looking at some of their goals, you're looking at some of their approach play from their attacking players as sublime. It's just beautiful to watch, and I'm saying that as someone who's on the red side of Manchester, but it is great to watch. Pep Guardiola's got them playing football that you'd pay to watch. Record that, City fans, and play it back. Sublime to watch. OK, right, let's talk about the headlines then from today. These are the big headlines after a busy old Premier League day. Painting the town red, brilliant performance from Arsenal. We're going to talk about Arsenal in just a couple of moments, but also Tottenham. Where does today leave Tottenham? Once again, Mauricio Pochettino away at a big side. Failed to get the result for his team. The other big headline from today, Blues bin the baggies. It was a good day for Chelsea, but where does the future lie for Tony Pulis? If you're a West Brom fan and you're watching this now,
get involved in the show, get in touch, share your thoughts with the guys, ask them a question. Hashtag PL Tonight is where you start the conversation. We'll talk about Tony Pulis' future in a minute, and cherries on top. Convincing win for them. Callum Wilson with a hat-trick. Brilliant performance from Bournemouth. They've really turned a corner in the last few weeks, so good news for them. But we're going to start, though, by hearing from John and Sophia. They watched the North London derby earlier on in the day, and here's what they made of the game.
Hi, it's John here ahead of the North London derby. It's a massive game for both clubs, probably more for Arsenal because we'll take a 7-point lead if we win today. It's about time we won at the Emirates. We've got the team to do it, but we've got to be wary of their attacking threat as well.
Spurs don't have a great record at the Emirates or Highbury, so I'm hoping for a win. I fear it's going to be a draw and Harry Kane will score.
It's been an awful half from Spurs, one of our worst I can remember. Arsenal fully deserved to be a couple of goals up, although there's been some dreadful refereeing. Danny Rose left out the entire squad, which was a bit of a surprise. It looks like a repeat of the Kyle Walker situation.
We won the derby 2-0. For me, man of the match. I know they gave it to Ozil on the other channel, but for me, it was Mustafi. His first goal, in off the post, amazing. We defended like a rock. That was how we should be defending. Love the game. Love that we stick to them. Let's keep it going, Gooners.
I love that. Nice to see a smile on Sophia's face. This is a tweet from John Cross, who's a journalist for The Mirror. He says here, Mesut Ozil, the World Cup winner and 5-time German Player of the Year, who got into none of the combined North London 11s, goes off to a standing ovation. Well, Mesut Ozil was tweeting, was trending all over Twitter and all the other social media platforms. These were the main mentions about him in the game this morning, all completely positive, with so much negativity around him at the moment. These were the most popular conversations about him. Class act, standing ovation, beautiful, and thank you were the most used phrases specifically on Twitter. I suppose the frustration, though, if you're an Arsenal fan, is go and do that every week. There's a reason why he wasn't in most of the combined 11s.
Yeah, you can't blame people for not including him in that. He's not, I wouldn't say, have been playing at that level on a consistent basis over the last couple of years, really. When Mesut Ozil is on it, he is one of the best and he is world class. I actually felt in the game against England for Germany in that slightly deeper role, he was brilliant as well. And whether he's kind of gone away with the German team, regained some confidence, we know he's loved a lot in Germany, and he's brought that back for this particular game. Because he was sensational today. He was actually unplayable in the game. They didn't know how to deal with him.
So do it more often.
Yeah, I think, sometimes when you watch him play, for somebody who didn't have an ounce of ability he had, when I see that...
Well said, Robbie, well said.
Just on the
no one's disagreeing.
Really, got to be honest in this programme, really got to be honest. If somebody who applied myself like I did, tried to get every ounce of ability and work rate, on that football pitch, it frustrates me to watch him because he is a brilliant player, as JJ just said, when he's on it, but he's not on it enough. He's got to be doing this against Manchester United, against Chelsea, against West Brom.
There are different characters, though.
Yeah, Robert. I get it.
We came across different characters when we were playing. Not everybody's of that mindset of, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can every week. Some players are like, listen, I'm the man here. You get me the ball, and I'll go and show you what I'm capable of.
If he does that every week, it's fine.
I'm not going to chase around after players.
I think the biggest frustration for the Arsenal fans is the Arsenal team. This ain't about Mesut Ozil, this is about the Arsenal team. The whole team, the way they played to a man today, the pressing, the intensity that they played with. You watch them play 10 games, you'll get that probably 3 or 4 times out of them, and the other 4, 5, 6 times, it's not the same. And at the top level, when the margins are so small between winning and losing, you can't afford to take your foot off the gas. You can't afford mentally not to be in tune for one of the games. Coming here to Old Trafford or to the Etihad against the big teams, you've got to be on it all the time. You can't pick and choose when you want to do it. It's the North London derby. It's not hard to get up for them games. Yeah. Derbies are not hard to get. You get out of bed, you bounce out of bed. You don't slump out of bed. You bounce out ready to go and play a big match against your local rivals. So you want that every week. You want to do that when you're away at Stoke as well. You want that when you're...
Do any of you see that performance and think you will see that from Arsenal away at Stoke?
I don't know what we're going to get next week now. We're going to get next week with Arsenal. That's the problem.
And they're going to Burnley, I think. Is it Burnley away?
Burnley? I'll back Burnley to win that game.
I mean, they've not again.
Well, having just beaten Spurs, you'd now back Burnley to beat.
Burnley are in good form
to beat Arsenal. Of course they are.
And it's a hard place to go. And I don't know what I'm going to get out of Arsenal. That's what you'd be saying.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. It's not consistent enough, and you don't know what you're going to get. The beauty of today's game for Arsenal, they've had such bad news over the last kind of like 2 years. Every time you go to the Emirates, it's kind of, I don't know, Wenger out or this story. That's fans. Unrest. Today was one of those days where it didn't matter what the last 5 results were. It didn't matter if everybody hated Arsene Wenger. It was about winning the derby. And the support that I heard in that stadium was ridiculous. It was unbelievable. And it obviously transmitted itself onto the pitch to, inspire the team today, because they won every battle on the pitch.
They were almost underdogs. That tells you how far Spurs have come. But Spurs, Absolutely. Everyone's talking about Spurs, but Spurs haven't won anything. So we're talking about pure potential.
Well, let's talk about Spurs and what Spurs' potential is then. You've got a Spurs team who everyone says are brilliant, and we've done it as well. We've sat in, we've lauded them for some fantastic performances this season. But at the same time, you look at their performances against the top 6 under Maurizio Pochettino, away from home, 17 played, 1 game won. If you're going to win leagues and you're going to win titles, you've got to beat the big teams.
They've got to get the mentality going in this team. Because this will be a problem for them now, because they'll all see these stats. They'll all understand when we go to the big teams, we can't get over the line. They've got to start getting.
Let's not get beat. Each manager has a different mindset, for each game.
Let's not get beat on the front foot though. We're on the front foot. We're not going there and sitting back and saying, "Oh, hopefully we don't get." Just putting our gloves up and not taking just taking the punches and hoping not to get knocked out. But
here against Manchester United. Manchester United were far the better side, and it was exactly the same last year. They've kind of just... I don't know whether they come into these games with the wrong mentality, whether they're overly confident. I don't know what it is.
But then they got it so right at home against Real Madrid in the Champions League. That felt almost like a mental turning point.
But that game, that Real Madrid, they play Real Madrid in knockout stages. It's a different team they're playing. Same players, a different team it will be, and I'm telling you, it'll be a different result. It's different. Real Madrid that night was a shadow of the team that we know Real Madrid could be. I'm telling you, because that comes to knockout stages, it will be a different team that turn up, a different team that's sharp. Don't taking nothing away from that Spurs team and that performance on that day. They've got to get it right in these games. These games here in England, the big games against the top 6, they ain't getting it right far too often.
You sound unconvinced by Tottenham.
I just think if you're going to win, you're going to be talked about as being a great team. And I think Pochettino's done a great job. The way he bloods young players, he's done it at Southampton, he's doing it here at Spurs. The England team, the spine almost of that team is becoming Spurs, and that's down to Pochettino. He has to take huge credit for that. But to be talked about as a great team, as a top team, you've got to win trophies. They're not going to get near winning the Premier League.
It's difficult though, Jake, because Tottenham have come so far, and it's actually crazy that we sit here talking about Tottenham winning the league. But we do. We sat here going, well, this team are that good. He's that good a manager. Why can't they win these big games? Because that is what is going to win you the league. Now, with the team that they've got, yes, their best 11 is capable of doing it, but essentially, when you do look at what Manchester City have got and what United have got to an extent as well, the chances are that they're not going to be doing it this year. But in terms of progression, that club, and that team, they're doing the right things. They're playing at half of what no Wanyama, Dembele is just about.
But JJ,
Harry Kane's injured.
But you say them players are saying to come back. I still don't think them players get them over the line to win the league. They're great players. I think what they lack compared to a Man City, to a Man United, a Chelsea, what they lack is a player with the X factor. Dele Alli, great player. Harry Kane, great player, going to score you goals. But they haven't got the X.
Harry Kane's got the X factor.
He's not going to get the ball in the halfway line, take on 4 players.
He's won the Golden Boot the last 2 years.
That's got goal.
Like a Gareth Bale.
He's a goal scorer. I'm talking about X factor, a Hazard, a Sanchez at Arsenal, a Pogba, a Martial, Rashford type player. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that type of player at Spurs at the moment. Someone who can get the ball and draw 2 or 3 players around him, because he has that quality. They identify that you say we can't give him space, and all the defenders come out to him, which frees up other players. They haven't got that guy.
So have we given Spurs too much praise then this season? Because we talk about Arsenal being in decline. They've got a point less than Tottenham. Everyone talks about Manchester United playing boring football. I think they've now scored 7 Premier League goals more than Spurs.
And got a better defensive record.
So how good is this Spurs team?
Jose Mourinho gets criticised for beating Spurs 1-0 at home, gets hammered, yet they're above Spurs in the table. Mourinho plots his way to win games, plots his way to win championships, whether it's with Chelsea, whoever. Yeah, he gets hammered because this is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Spurs are yet to be that. Simple as that.
Are we being too tough on Spurs, do you think?
A little bit. A little bit, you know. At Manchester United, things are expected, and that's why you get criticised when you don't win things, when you spend £250,000 on transfers. At Spurs, the fact that we're having a conversation about them, even being tied to contenders, shows how far the club's come. I think at times we're right to criticise. At times, you know, that stat there, 1 win in 17 against top clubs, is something that they need to address.
But they're a work in progress, and
if they get that X Factor player, just think what that would do for Harry Kane, what that would do for Dele Alli, in terms of giving them more space.
Do you see Daniel Levy, though, going and spending 90 million quid on a football player?
I don't know.
No.
We'll see.
I don't think so either, no. OK, agree or disagree? If you're a Spurs fan and you're watching this, I'd love to hear from you. Get in touch right now. Use the hashtag PLTonight while Rio stretches out his problematic knee. Is that causing you an issue there?
No, it's just stretching it out.
You've got to get in the ring soon, man. You can't be struggling sitting down for half an hour.
He'd be lying down when he goes.
Right, stay where you are. A lot still to come. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Get your 3 match reports on. That's the best line he's come out with in 4 years.
Let's put the break. Relax.
This programme is sponsored by Bet365.
The Ashes are exclusively live on BT Sport throughout the night. This may be a problem for some of you with jobs, children or responsibilities, so our boffins have made an app for your tablet or phone. Bored at work? Stream it live! Wake up and catch up with dedicated highlights. Impress your mates and rewind whatever action you want. Sixes, fours, wickets. This Drongo dropping the Ashes. Wherever you are, the BT Sport app puts the Ashes at your fingertips. What a time to be alive.
Nivea Man Protect and Care gives you protection from dirt, protection from sweat, protection from dry skin, protection from everything. Well, almost. Nivea Man Protect and Care. All right. Ultimate protection from everything.
Introducing Fitbit Ionic, the smartwatch for your health and fitness.
The Emperor is dead.
So what happens now?
We retaliate.
We've been fighting our whole lives. Today, the rebellion dies. The Empire's time has come.
For the players.